said the house was abandoned. They said no one had lived there in over a decade. That the last tenants left everything behind. Furniture, clothes, photographs, everything. And never came back. What they didn't tell me was that the house already knew my name. I heard it for the first time on my third night inside. A sound I cannot explain, coming from the walls. And after what happened to me in that house, I will never sleep without a light on again. I want to be honest with you. Before I tell you what happened, you need to understand who I was going into this. I'm not someone who believes in ghosts. I'm a skeptic. I've always had an explanation for strange noises, for shadows in the corner, for the feeling that someone is watching you. So, when my friend Marcus told me the rental price on 14 Ashgrove Lane was, and I quote, aggressively cheap, I didn't read the reviews too carefully. 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, a full basement, and a price that was less than my last apartment's parking spot. In this economy, I signed the lease the same day. The first 2 days were fine. Quiet neighborhood. The house had that old home smell. Musty wood. Cold air. But nothing alarming. The pipes groaned. The floorboards creaked. Normal old house stuff. But on the second night, I noticed something. The house was never completely silent. Even at 2 a.m., with every window closed, I could hear something underneath the ambient sound. Like a frequency. Or a breath. Now, here's something that will make what I'm about to tell you even more disturbing. There's a documented psychological phenomenon called acoustic pareidolia. It's the reason people hear music in white noise, or words in running water. Scientists say it happens more frequently in the dark, when the brain is deprived of visual input and starts filling in the gaps. Keep that in mind. Because what I heard on night 3 was not my brain filling in gaps. What I heard was specific. It was 3:12 in the morning. I know because I'd just woken up from a dream I couldn't remember, heart pounding for no reason I could name. The house was dark. I lay there listening to nothing. And then, 3 seconds silence. My name. Not loud, not like someone shouting. Soft, like someone leaning in close. Like someone who had been standing right beside my bed, waiting for me to stop breathing so loud so they could finally be heard. I sat up so fast I knocked my phone off the nightstand. Grabbed it, turned on the flashlight. Nothing. Empty room. Closet door closed. I could have sworn, I was certain, I had left it open. I told myself it was a dream. The tail end of sleep, the brain doing its acoustic pareidolia thing. I told myself that until I believed it enough to lay back down. Then it happened again. I started keeping a log. Dates, times, what I heard, what I saw. Night 4, the whisper again. Same time, 3 a.m., louder, 2 syllables. My name. Night 5, the whisper. And this time, something else. A dragging sound from the room directly above my bedroom, which was the attic, which was padlocked. Night 6, I set up my phone camera on a tripod, pointed at the ceiling. Motion detection app. I went to sleep dreading what I'd find in the morning. The app triggered at 3:09 a.m. What was on the footage was me, standing in the middle of my bedroom, facing the wall, arms at my sides. I had no memory of getting out of bed. Before I tell you what I found in that basement, if this story's getting to you, hit subscribe. I drop new horror every week, and you do not want to miss what's coming. I did what anyone would do. I started digging. Property records, local news archives. The house had changed hands 7 times in 40 years. Most tenants lasted less than 4 months. One family, the Hargroves, left overnight in 2009. Their furniture was still inside when the landlord came to check. And then I found the police report from 1987. A man named Raymond Coles had called the police 17 times in 6 weeks from that address. The reports were always the same. He claimed he heard his name being called from inside the walls. He claimed the house was alive. He was found on week 7 in the basement, barefoot, in his pajamas, hypothermic. He'd been down there for 2 days. He told the responding officers he had heard his name, and he had followed it. I'm going to tell you something I've never told anyone, because I'm still not sure what it means. On night 9, the whisper didn't stop. It went on for 20 minutes, not just my name now. A sentence, the same sentence, over and over. And I want you to understand, I knew this was wrong. Every rational part of me knew this was wrong. But I got out of bed. I walked to the hallway. I walked to the basement door. And I opened it. I stood at the top of the stairs for I don't know how long. The cold air from below was physical. You could feel it against your face like a hand. And then, from somewhere down in that dark, I heard something that made my blood go completely cold. It wasn't my name this time. Pause. It was a child's laugh. Here's where I want to be honest with you, because I think the truth is actually scarier than the easy explanation. Infrasound, frequencies below 18 Hz, inaudible to the human ear, but felt in the body. In 1998, a scientist named Vic Tandy discovered that a frequency of exactly 18.98 Hz causes feelings of dread, disorientation, and, in some cases, vivid auditory hallucinations. Old buildings can generate these frequencies naturally through their pipe systems. They can explain voices. They can explain terror. They can explain why I woke up facing the wall with no memory of standing up. But they cannot explain what I found drawn on the basement wall. Written in what looked like old crayon, small and frantic, covering an area the size of a door. It was my name, my full name. A name I had not told the landlord. A name no previous tenant could have known. Written 411 times. I left the next morning. I didn't pack everything. I didn't call the landlord. I left a month's deposit on the counter, and I drove 3 hours until I found a motel with the lights on. I called the local historical society the following week. Told them I was writing an article. Asked about the history of the property. The woman on the phone went quiet for a moment. Then she asked me how long I had been in the house. When I told her 9 days, she said, "That's longer than most." She told me the property had a history that predated the current structure, that the land itself had been the site of something. She was vague. An incident, she called it, in the 1800s. An event involving a family and a fire. And then she said something I think about every single day. Pause. She said, "Some places remember the people who passed through them, and some places, they don't want to let go." I have looked up every rational explanation I can find. Infrasound, sleep paralysis, confirmation bias, carbon monoxide. I even had the place tested. Levels were normal. The house on Ashgrove Lane has a new tenant now. I drove past last month. I don't know why. I know I shouldn't have. There was a light on in the basement. I want to believe in the rational explanation. I need to. Because the alternative, the idea that a house can know your name before you've ever walked through its door, that idea doesn't leave a lot of room for sleep. I haven't had a full night's sleep since I left, and sometimes, at 3 a.m. in my new apartment, 3 hours away, I still hear it. Long pause. Just my name. If this kept you up, good. That means it worked. Drop a comment below with the scariest thing you've ever heard at night. And if you're watching this alone, in the dark, at 3 a.m., you might want to leave a light on. Like, subscription share, and turn on the notification button to get updated when I drop another amazing video like these.